It's all covered in today's China Truths.
Most people today are barely making ends meet. Some can't even afford their next meal. Sounds unbelievable, right? But it's real. I have a client who handles business loans, and when I looked at his backend data, the truth hit hard. In 2022 and 2023, customers mostly paid with WeChat, Pay, Alipay, or bank cards. But starting from the second half of 2024, the top payment methods suddenly shifted to credit cards and Huawei. And here's the kicker. This client runs a small restaurant in the basement of an office building. If even white-collar workers are borrowing money just to eat lunch, what does that tell us? People don't even have money for food anymore. They're literally going into debt just to fill their stomachs. At a factory recruitment, the staff met an applicant who said he hadn't eaten for 2 days. They immediately offered help to solve his urgent need. How old are you? 45. You're 45. How did you end up like this, with nothing left? How much do you have? Almost nothing. If you don't help me, I'll starve. Then you'll have to figure it out yourself. You're a strong person. Look, this is a personal gift. Have a meal with me later, and we'll talk afterward. As for whether I can give you a job at the factory, I really don't know. A blogger wrote about an encounter that deeply moved him. He said it was hard to believe that even today, some people are still too poor to eat. That afternoon, while eating near Chongqing North Railway Station, he noticed the man next to him staring at the few oranges he had brought. Since the man hadn't ordered food, he gave him a glass of free water from the shop. The man then came over to speak, but he wasn't from Sichuan or Chongqing, so the blogger couldn't understand. After repeating himself 3 times, the blogger finally understood his meaning. He asked, "Do you want these oranges on my table?" The man nodded, so he gave him all the oranges and even ordered another meal for him. The blogger said he had met beggars asking for money in recent years, but never anyone who only wanted food. He sighed. All lives suffer. Life isn't easy. How many children do you think is ideal? None. So is that your child you're pushing? No, I picked him up. 1 is enough. For young people today, how many children are ideal? None. The pressure is too great. So how many do you think is best? 0. China's declining fertility rate reflects the collective anxiety of the younger generation about the future. Despite government subsidies for childbirth, they haven't eased the real pressures of high housing prices and unstable jobs. Without social security and a stable life, having children is no longer a natural choice but a risk. For women, the pressure is even heavier. Workplace discrimination, childcare, and the struggle for personal growth. The more kids you have, the poorer you become, and the poorer you get, the more kids you end up with. That's the reality for families like mine. I'm 33, living in the countryside, already a mother of 4. People always ask, do you come from a wealthy family? Did you inherit a fortune? The truth? Nothing like that. Both my husband's family and mine are ordinary. I'm a full-time caregiver, no income. My husband earns just a few thousand yuan a month. And my father-in-law picks up odd jobs to help us survive. We don't have a mortgage or car loan, but raising 4 kids still feels crushing. I keep telling myself, grit my teeth, stay positive, and push forward as a family. Maybe, just maybe, things will get better. But the reality of raising children in China today is brutal. In the past, parents worried about paying school fees. Now they're worried about covering their kids' living expenses after graduation. Take a Beijing graduate earning 5,000 yuan. Rent, utilities, food, and transport easily cost 8,000. That means parents must still send money, often more than what they spent while their child was still in school. And this doesn't even include marriage, buying a house, or a car. Even if you emptied your savings, you still couldn't afford a down payment in Beijing. The tension between parents and children is real. A father tells his daughter, "I'll give you 1,500 yuan a month." Stop comparing. She snaps back, "I need 3,000 yuan. Makeup, clothes, fruit, nails. It all costs money." The father explodes, "I only make 6,000 yuan. If I give you 3,000, how do we live? Your grandparents' pensions aren't even 2,000 yuan combined. How dare you ask them for money?" Parents are breaking under the weight. One blogger shared how just half a summer vacation cost him 30,000 yuan. orthodontics, courses, travel. His older child's expenses already feel endless, while the younger one hasn't even started. He admits, if you can have one child, just have one. Unless you're rich, don't even think about a second. I'm in my 30s and my hair's already white. Even small things add up. A cheap pair of slippers worn for 3 years, or a child's outing, riding deer, eating candied haws, playing with toys that cost hundreds each month. Raising one kid easily burns through 3,000 yuan monthly, a true money eater. And yet, many men today can barely support a single family. According to a CICC survey, out of China's 1.4 billion people, only about 700,000 earn more than 20,000 yuan a month. The rest, struggling to keep their heads above water. The blogger broke down a harsh truth. In the US, one worker can support 4.8 people. In Germany, 6.8. In China, most can barely manage 1.1. A programmer earning 8,000 yuan a month is considered well paid. But after mortgages, car loans, and tutoring fees, only 2,000 yuan is left. His wife wanted to buy a 500 yuan skincare set but hesitated for half a year. That's reality. 90% of men in China earn under 5,000 yuan, not even reaching the tax threshold. Families are stretched so thin that even with 10,000 yuan a month, they're still struggling. A female blogger recalled hearing in her hometown of Shantou, "Raising daughters is useless." As a child, she hated the phrase. But after marriage, juggling kids, in-laws, and her own parents, she now admits it carries painful truth. Women often give their best years to their in-laws, while their own parents receive little. Not everyone agrees. A Guangdong netizen insisted, "My parents raised me, so I'll give them everything. House, retirement, medical care, just like a son would." Whether daughters are useless depends on the daughter herself. If you set filial piety as a principle from the start, your husband will respect it too. Still, many cling to the idea, even if we're poor, we'll have 3 children. Some say poverty isn't an excuse. They bring their children everywhere, refusing to leave them behind, insisting it's about love, not money. Others admit bluntly, "We just wanted both a son and a daughter, so we wouldn't have regrets." But raising kids in modern China is crushing. One young couple in northeast China earns just 8,000 yuan together. Without retired parents to babysit, childcare becomes impossible. Hiring help costs a fortune. Kindergarten alone is 1,000 yuan a month. Conflict grows at home. Sleepless nights, crying babies, exhausted parents. Many couples fight, some even collapse under the pressure. When asked, do children guarantee support in old age? An elderly man replied coldly, "No, you can only rely on yourself. My pension paid for my son's house and car, and now I'm even raising his child. He can't support me. Sometimes he can't even support himself." Another woman shared, "My husband earns 7,000 yuan, pays a 3,000 yuan mortgage, and we raise 2 kids. What kind of life is this?" She survives by buying discounted vegetables late at night, calculating every coin to stretch through the month. The math is unforgiving. In Shenyang, raising just one toddler costs over 26,000 yuan a year. For ordinary families, children are no longer just a blessing. They've become the heaviest financial burden of all. My child is currently 21 months old and uses pure formula milk, about 2 cans a month at 150 yuan a can, which comes to 3,600 yuan a year. Diapers are the most common, about 300 yuan a month, or 3,600 yuan a year. Snacks, side dishes, toys, clothes, and other miscellaneous items add up to about 9,000 yuan a year. We only get the free vaccinations, so those are free. If the child has a minor cold, it costs about 2,000 yuan a year. All these expenses add up to 26,500 yuan. From the moment a child is born, expenses are a constant companion, often leaving young parents stretched to the limit. The blogger said that with such expenses, it's impossible to save any money in a year. The blogger said that after her divorce, she was kicked out of her in-laws' home and moved out alone with her daughter, without a house, a car, or any savings. "I'm 27 years old. I've experienced infidelity, being threatened by a mistress, and being schemed against and deceived by my in-laws. In the end, I gained nothing and had to move out with my young child to save my life. I rent an apartment in this unfamiliar city, working part-time while taking care of my child, with no one to help me. When I first moved out, I had nowhere to go. I couldn't go back to my parents' home, so I rented an old rundown apartment. I even had the terrifying experience of someone knocking on my door in the middle of the night. My ex-in-laws repeatedly brought people to my house to force me to withdraw the lawsuit. I was so scared that I was shaking all over. I curled up in bed with my child, my phone tightly clutched in my hand, not knowing who to call. China's economy is collapsing, with factories closing, businesses going bankrupt, and unemployment rising at an alarming pace. Millions of young people cannot find jobs, while even experienced workers are losing their livelihoods. Debt is mounting, incomes are shrinking, and small businesses are disappearing one after another. The real estate crisis has wiped out the lifetime savings of countless families, while local governments are drowning in massive debts they can no longer repay. State-owned enterprises are downsizing, private companies are shutting their doors, and foreign investors are fleeing the market. Confidence in the future is fading, and families are struggling just to put food on the table. The gap between the rich and the poor is widening, and ordinary people are being pushed to the edge of survival. From crowded cities where migrants sleep on the streets to rural villages where farmers cannot sell their crops, despair is spreading rapidly. Social tensions are building, and more people are beginning to realize that the so-called economic miracle has come to an end. What lies ahead is a long and painful period of hardship, with uncertainty clouding every aspect of daily life. For many, the hope of prosperity has vanished, leaving only fear of what tomorrow might bring.
Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We will keep reporting on the COVID surge in China, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to get the latest videos. And thank you for tuning in.